Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to pay our respects to Grind 99 because it is officially dead. Welcome back to the show, the podcast, everybody. That was a different opening to the show, a dramatic one, some might say. But it's not a joke. This podcast often has some jokes on it. We like to have fun. We're talking about a video game, of course. It's supposed to be fun. But we've got some stuff to talk about, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Excuse me as I clear my throat. Thank you all for being back here for another week. Hope you guys are doing well in your lives. I hope you are finding some way to enjoy MLB The Show 24. Because right now, I'm not going to lie to a soul. I'm finding it hard to find joy in MLB The Show 24. You guys know my stance on MLB as a franchise. I love it. I will always love it. It will always have a special place in my heart. It probably will never leave my life because that's how much it means to me for a lot of different reasons. But it's not popping right now. So today in this episode, we're going to talk about some pretty glaring. Some of them are issues, but some of them look like philosophical shifts that are concerning and that we're going to talk about. Now, I'm going to get the elephant in the room out of the way first because I recognize there's an elephant in the room. Yes, the very first podcast episode I released in the MLB The Show 24 game cycle was titled something to the effect of MLB The Show 24 it has the potential to be legendary or something like that. And at the time, it was looking that way. I also made it clear several times during that episode that to definitively say it was legendary was not something we could say until much later on, because we'd have to see what happened. Some of you did not listen to that, apparently, because you yelled at me. And if this game ends up going out the way it's playing right now, I will own the giant L on my forehead. I'm not out here trying to have false hope, of course. I'm a realist. But I do want to get the elephant in the room out the way. I also want to say that people's opinions can change. Yes, I mean, listen, I was lucky, blessed, however you want to say it. I worked hard and I earned an SDS Creator Launchbox, to which I am eternally grateful to the fine folks at SDS. That does not mean I cannot criticize a game I care about, and so that's what we're going to do today. Because for me and this podcast to maintain any bit of credibility it may or may not have, ultimately that's for you to decide how much credibility you think it has. I like to think I'm a pretty credible source of opinions on the sport, or on the game rather, maybe the sport. That's neither here nor there though. But for me to maintain the integrity of this channel, we're going to talk about issues. And so that's just what this episode's going to be. Before we get into things though, really quickly, this episode is sponsored by the MLB The Show shop on Etsy. My boy Nick hooked us up with some super duper cool trading cards based off of MLB The Show cards. Look at this JP Crawford, the cracked ice. Look at this. This is one of my favorite cards from last year, and so he printed it out, turned it into a card. This is real card stock, not paper. And he sent a few my way. This Mike Trout. Here, hold it this way, it's probably better. This Mike Trout on the cracked ice. Sorry about the glare, I'm trying to get the focus. There you go, looks phenomenal. Look at that. That's spicy. This Chipper Jones is super neat. Like, you could get your favorite MLB The Show cards turned into a card. And there are tons of options for what you can have the back look like. Like this Corey Seager has this like really cool custom back with the card attributes on it. This is the Corey Seager we're talking about, of course. And even cooler, you can get waterproof stickers to turn your ugly water bottles into cool water bottles. Waterproof. Look at that. Ronald Acuna. Super cool. I'm going to read some information to you now really quickly. You can get original glossy or cracked ice holographic finishes. You can buy them as cards on cardstock or as stickers. That's what I just said. All cards, all of them, come with a protective laminate layer to prevent smudging. They also come with a penny sleeve and a top loader to keep them safe. And you can also get one of these super cool magnetic thick cases for extra protection if you pay a little extra money. So that's MLB The Show shop on Etsy. It is linked in the description. Make sure you check it out. And if you buy something, tell my boy Nick that I sent you there. So thank you for sponsoring this episode. Okay, so the things we're going to talk about, boys and girls. I have a note in my phone of some things I wanted to touch on. I apologize in advance if it seems a little scatterbrained. This is going to be one of those ranty type of episodes, but we're going to get to the stuff. There's a chance I missed something that a lot of the player base is feeling. That's not because I'm not feeling it. It's probably just because I forgot about it, because there's so much that's gone on. Let's start first with the timeline of what's occurred. The game dropped, and we were all like, wow, this game is fun. Like, largely across the board. Pretty much everyone was having a blast. Exit velos. Sky high. Made it fun. Power creep was back. That was unique. We started with the new seasons format, which is kind of like sets and seasons, but it's really not. It adopts the better parts of the sets idea, but also brings the power creep back. People were excited. The game also was not MLB The Show 23, which is inherently exciting for a lot of reasons. And then we had some problems. The two-way glitch was back. That was a big bad no-no. It took some time to fix. SDS announced the patch, released the patch, and the patch broke the entire game. Everybody became tiny people with big heads. Their numbers were incorrect. Some people did not have strike zones anymore. Among a host of other issues. So, by fixing the broken thing that came about from the patch that was supposed to fix other broken things, the game hasn't really felt the same since. And then, randomly last week, I woke up to find out that some of my friends lost their accounts. How? Just lost them. It took SDS the better part of a full day to fix it, which leads me to believe that it was a larger problem that popped up. I'm glad it is fixed, and I hope that you have gotten your stuff back. If you have not, I hope you have already submitted a ticket to get it fixed, because it seems like things are okay now. My friends who had lost their accounts have them back. That does not excuse the fact that it happened, because that's horrible. People spent real money on those accounts, potentially, and it could have just been thrown away. And now we're here, where, like, the game don't feel good. Online play is horrid for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about it. And, like, the content is weird. I think that's where we'll start. We talked about it a little bit in yesterday's 10-minute mailbag. If you watched it, shout out to you. So this might seem like a little bit of a rehash. If so, don't worry. We'll get on past it. There are too many friggin' packs, specialty packs, that cost way too much, and not enough programs. This Prospect Pipeline pack, not a bad idea. A new card series, fun guys. Roderick Arias, a top or highly rated Yankee prospect, as is Jordan Beck, as is Nick Frasso. All these guys. Ryan Clifford, we can go through the whole list. New headliner, Matt Shaw. He's pretty popular too. What SDS could have done, and should have done in my opinion, is make it a program. Exactly like the Spring Breakout program, which was applauded left and right when it first came out on launch. Or essentially on launch. I think it was essentially on launch. Or it might have been on launch. Might have been on launch. Either way. You get some cool cards in the program. Cards that are usable in the power creep. Like, how many of these guys? He was used, he was used, he was used, he was used. James Wood was used a little less. Colson Montgomery was used. All these cards were used. I saw all these cards online. Every single one. You could do something like that and then maybe throw one of those specialty packs in the back end of the program. It is concerning to me, very concerning to me, that none of these programs have a specialty pack in them. You have to go to the show shop and spend 40,000 stubs, which is a lot because stubs are friggin' impossible to get this year. You have to be a flawless BR demon to get a stub bankroll, or like really, 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 really diligently flip the market like nonstop. But not everyone has the time or the ability to do that. And honestly, that shouldn't be a requirement to making stubs. This is not me trying to complain. I'm not looking for necessarily free handouts of things. I'm just looking for things to be more accessible, that if I do a thing, I get a thing. I think that's fair. So it's too many packs. There are not enough programs. And when we do have programs, some of these packs, just one, need to be in a program. I'm not asking for the high round every time. I'm just asking for the chance. And do you want to know how few people are buying these packs? Let's take a gander at, is it this one? It's this one. So the Season 1 Drop 2 specialty pack, it's 30,000 stubs. We're going to talk about the season awards content in a second because it's a problem, in my opinion. Look at this Brady Singer. Technically, he's like kind of the rare round. And you can get him, excuse me, for less than the pack costs. That's how few people are buying these stupid packs. Orlando Cabrera, a 92, lot of fun, super cool to use. He is completely inaccessible at 93,000 stubs. Oswaldo Cabrera is the type of card, or type of player, probably more so, I should say. If you gave him out in an award path, people would use this card immediately. Switch hitter, plays a bunch of positions, has pretty decent attributes. The clutch is there. The vision's a little low, whatever, not a big deal. Good fielder, good speed. He's a fun card, a fun player. Ain't nobody using this card now. No one's spending 93,000 stubs on this card. You want to know why? Stubs are so hard to come by that you can reallocate that stub bankroll to much more important things. Let's go back again and talk about the season rewards, because I have a massive problem with that. Where is it? So, we knew that Tops Now and monthly awards were going to work different because of the power creep and just the way everything is structured now. I am fine with restructuring. Restructuring is not the problem here. The structure of this, honestly, isn't horrible. It's a program. It should have one of those specialty packs in it. But, like, it's a program. It's got progress, moments, missions, stuff. Its formatting is not dissimilar to how the end of, like, monthly awards and grinding was last year. It is relatively similar, and that's good. The structural changes are just in how the cards come out. Fine. In this Season 1 Drop 1 reward pack, you get 1 Tops Now, 2 Tops Now, 3 Tops Nows, and then this monthly, I guess, are we calling them henchmen, I guess, because they're not technically bosses? I don't know. This 91 Season 1 awards Garrett Crochet, who is a fine card, doesn't really have the meta pitch mix, so he's not that great, but attribute-wise a fine card. I'm not complaining about this. What I'm complaining about here, now we're going to go back to the store again. I'm sorry, we're jumping around a little bit. There are Tops Now cards in packs. Tops Now cards. For people just starting in the game, maybe mid-cycle, maybe a month into the year, whatever. We're talking about true no money spent. I work a day job, I have a family, I can't play all day, every day people. Which is a large portion of the player base. A considerable portion of the player base. Tops Now cards were backbones of those people's lineups. They were easy to obtain. You did a couple moments, did a couple missions, and maybe you finished a Tops Now weekly drop, and you got 3 new fun cards to put on your team. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I guess it depends on how your team is built, but you hear what I'm saying. Tops Now cards were free 99. Not they all weren't 99s, but free 99 is a saying. You know what I mean? SDS seems to have completely abandoned the grind 99 mantra. It used to be like a fun saying, almost a meme in the community. Like, yeah, grind 99, we're back. If I do some stuff, I'll earn some stuff. Now, if you do some stuff, you earn worse stuff than what you can pay for in the packs. Not once on a stream this year have they said, grind 99. They have said play to 99. Very different. Very vastly different. And I want to make sure people realize that. Play to 99 means you can continue, playing this game for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And then, once you get to the end of this XP capped reward path, which the XP cap we can live with, maybe with some modifications. This is not an XP cap rant. But eventually, you can get to the 99s at the end. Eventually. Doesn't matter if you've done everything correctly, you are gate-kept from getting them at your speed. It's a necessary evil with the power creep to some extent, but at the same time, it is a stark philosophical change from the MLB The Show series that we're used to. This is a quick tangent here, but I think it's important to talk about. Longtime listeners know, I'm not a Madden person. I don't play FIFA, I don't play 2K. I play this game. And I play, like, other fun games I like Kingdom Hearts and the Spider-Man games, and Baldur's Gate, one of my favorite games of all time. I love Pokemon games. I play, like, low-stakes games outside of this. This is my only, like, true competitive game that I play. Though I was once a master tier Pokemon battler online, just saying, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm getting at here is, there have been a lot of people, perhaps a little bit reactionary, saying that SDS has just become EA Sports and is making everything pay to win. I will acknowledge and accept and confirm the fact that it's leaning a little bit... Ooh, hit my microphone. Sorry if there was feedback on that. It's trending a little closer to that. But even with all these current philosophical changes that a lot of them I don't agree with, frankly, it's not a pay-to-win game. MLB The Show is not a pay-to-win game. Because you still gotta be good, kind of. I know there's a lot of fluke. We're going to talk about the gameplay in a little bit. You can go into ranked with your favorite cards, no matter really, mostly who they are, at least hitters, and make World Series. Pitching's different, because pitching's very meta. But, like, hitting-wise, you can kind of use whoever you want, for the most part, and make World Series. The better cards will, of course, theoretically make you better. But not necessarily, because you still have to put the bat on the ball. But it's getting a little closer to like, hey, you want these cool things? We're going to need that credit card. We're going to need those stubs. And I don't appreciate that. I also think it's important to say that I would imagine not a single person who actively worked on this game made that decision. So before we go attacking all these people who work at SDS, I would venture a guess and say it came from somebody well above all of their pay grades. Regardless of whose mouth it came out of or whose brain birthed the idea, it's unfortunate because this game has always been, and still is realistically, the most accessible for no money spent people, but it's becoming harder. There are stubs nowhere to be found in this game. Conquest maps hardly exist, and the rewards hidden in them suck. It's like, oh, we'll give you one standard pack. You know that jelly bean pack thing that they did for Easter that was kind of corny, but also kind of cool? It was different, it was fun, it was unique. Yeah, they ended that in like 5 days, gave people no warning as to when the jelly beans would be taken out, and now you can't even exchange jelly beans for that 100 jelly bean pack thing if you don't have 100 jelly beans. Like, there's no other way of earning such a thing. They've just made really weird choices. Really weird choices. And then you compound these problems on the content side, because, by the way, packs are not content. I think we all know that, but I want SDS to make sure that we all see it this way. Releasing specialty packs is not releasing content. It's releasing paywalled cards or in-game currency walled cards. It's not content. You put them in a program with a showdown and a conquest and some moments and some missions, now we can call it content, because I am actively interacting with something to receive something back. Packs are not content. But then you compound all of that with gameplay issues that have just escalated and worsened as the month has gone. Like, this game's been out not even a month yet. Almost a month. And we've got, like, really bad gameplay issues. It played great. It played great. The first week. Like, out of this world great. Like, holy crap, this is the most fun I've ever had, at least in a long time, playing this game. And then something happened. I don't know what happened. This game plays drastically better on All-Star than it does on higher difficulties. Not just because it's easier, which All-Star is just inherently easier, but it just plays better. Exit velos make more sense. Hitting feedback is largely better, etc., etc. I tweeted this the other day, and I'm gonna kind of just spitball what it was. I don't remember it verbatim. But I think this is one of the best descriptions of MLB The Show 24 so far. Of course, I created it, so I'm biased, but still. MLB The Show 24 is the weirdest combination of holy hell, I can't get anybody out. Pitching's impossible. But also, why does nothing I square up go anywhere? How do those two things make sense? Foul balls are at potentially an all-time high. It is an epidemic. It is killing the online game. You can't put a pitch anywhere, without it being fouled off. Couple that with people taking more pitches than ever before, because someone made the decision, a silly one in my opinion, to turn off perfect umpires on online play. Online play should have perfect umpires. Hard stop. It's a completely reasonable assumption that umpires would be perfect. But you couple imperfect umpires with the ability to foul off any pitch you want, and there is no incentive to actually swing the bat. It's just a merry-go-round on the bases. Everybody's taking free passes, getting fluke hits, jam jobs. Playing online is a nightmare. And now, because there's going to be people who are listening to this and who may have made it this far already, thank you if you have, saying, well, you're sounding like just a whiny complainer who sucks at this game. I have gone flawless, as you can see. I have multiple other 10-1 runs. Last year I went flawless 20 times. This year has been categorically harder because foul balls and fluke are at an all-time high. I also went 26-4 this season and made World Series today. So, I don't suck at the game. Let's just be frank. I'm not the best player you've ever seen. I'm not out here pretending I'm top 50. I've never made top 50. Nor have I really tried, but I've never made top 50. I'm not the best, but I don't suck. These are wide-ranging problems. And then you talk to the best players on the planet we call Earth. Frosty. He's one of them. Zazzy. Other folks. I don't want to put words in people's mouths either, but like I've seen high-ranking competitive players have issues with Legend gameplay. Legend plays worse than anything else. Sliders make your PCI the size of a pubic hair. And even if you center the ball within that PCI, you don't get good exit velos. You just can't hit the ball. Legend is supposed to be harder, but it's not supposed to be impossible. There are inconsistencies. There are launch angle problems. The lunge swing is now an issue, and not the fall over pop-up swing. That's mostly eradicated. There are now issues where you'll have a good timing swing on a slider in the strike zone, but you'll lunge at it and miss instead of hitting it, or at least putting the bat on it in some fashion. I want so badly to love this game. And I want everyone to love it. But already, just about less than a month in, we are having problems that are fundamentally, both in terms of content and gameplay, negatively shaping a lot of people's opinions. And because I care about this game, and because I have some sort of relationship with SDS, I think it is my responsibility to say these things. I'm not pretending I have an enormous platform. I've never once bragged about the platform I have. I love my community, whether it's big or small. We are growing, of course. You reliable homies who have been here from day one have my heart forever. But I'm not out here proclaiming I am the voice of the entire community. But I got my finger on the pulse. I read the Twitters, I read Reddit, I get newsletters. I'm in tune with what's going on. I say this not as a means in piling on. I think we as a community in MLB The Show and as a society can get nowhere if we just continuously pile on. I say these things out of concern, and so people who can do something about it understand the actual, gravity of the problems. These are not just, oh, haha, I squared it up and it was a lazy pop up to right field. This is these things are a problem. They are fundamental issues. I don't know if it's in code. I don't know if it's just in some sort of, relationship between... I'm not going to pretend to understand how it actually logistically works, because I don't. But that's not my job to understand how it works. Kind of. I just want this game to be great. And if it can play like it was the first week, it can be great. I'm worried about the direction of the content. I don't know how that changes. Because if it's coming down from the top, and Sony's like, hey, you boutique little studio called SDS, we got to make more money from you, need more stub revenue, I don't know how that changes. Part of me wonders, and I hope not, but part of me wonders, because the entire sports gaming community is aware that NCAA football is coming out pretty soon, that these games are going to try to make microtransaction money early on in the game cycle before NCAA comes out. And then after it comes out, start unlocking a few more things and making them more accessible. NCAA football coming out and being super popular is not SDS's fault. It's not Madden's fault. It's not FIFA's fault. That game is going to excite people no matter how good or bad MLB The Show is. That's just a fact. If MLB The Show 24 was the best baseball game ever created, college football coming out is still going to pull crowds away. That's just factual. That's just how it's going to be. But, just a theory of mine. Call it a tinfoil hat. I don't care. Just a theory. So, guys, this has been very ranty. I haven't done this in a while, and honestly, I don't like doing this. I like having fun and having cool, fun, productive conversations about this game. But naturally, I'm now curious what everyone has to say. I want to hear it in the comments. Am I off base? Am I on base? Did I forget something? How do you feel about this game? All of us who play this game want it to be good. There's not a soul who plays it who hopes it's bad. So we should all be rowing in the same direction to try to get things moving to get them fixed. The second chapter of Team Affinity Season 1 comes out on Friday. There's a bunch of stuff coming out. We just got more storylines. We're going to get Derek Jeter's storyline soon. There's still stuff coming. Stuff I'm excited for. I'd be more excited, though, if the game played as it was 3 weeks ago. That's the interesting thing here. I'm not trying to tell them to, come up with a whole new engine. Though it might be time for that. Whatever. The game worked 3 weeks ago. Make it play exactly like that. Like, just, see this? This is the game working. Make it like this. I don't even know if this hand signal thing that I just did even made any effing sense. But make it work like we just had it. Bring it back to me. Because it's there. It's possible. Something changed. Something somewhere along the line changed. Just bring it back. Everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of the show, the podcast. This game is near and dear to my heart. I just want it to kick ass. I hope you all want the same thing. So let the people at SDS, if you listen to this, shout out to you. I'm so thankful that you've given me a platform. But that is why I am comfortable expressing my concerns with the game. Because I trust that you are open to dialogue. And I rest my case. Grind99, it was nice to know you. I love you. I'll come visit your gravestone whenever I'm around at San Diego, which has never been once in my life, but I'll come visit. Thank you guys for making it to the end. Love you all, and I'll see you next time.